in our learning target, which is I can analyze different points of view of the same topic. So we're looking at two or more different texts, and we have to determine the point of view of the two different authors of the text in order to better understand the topic of informational text. Today we're going to read two sources about Zebulon Pike. Zebulon Pike was hired by the United States government in the 1800s to explore a piece of land that the government had bought. And what he needed to do, what his job was to find the source of the Mississippi River. Does anybody know what the source of a river is? What is the source of a river? Actually, you know what? I'm going to use my popsicle sticks. So get ready. All right, let's go with Braylon for now. What is the source of a river, Braylon? Where the river starts. Very good. Now, why do you think it might be important for the United States government to know where the Mississippi River started? Gabriel.
So they could kind of control it and know where it is and make sure that they had water.
Right. Because remember, above the United States is a country called Canada, and you might want the Mississippi River to start in your own country so that you can control the whole river. All right, now here's another thing I want to propose to you. This is 1805. We did not have Google Maps. We did not have Google Earth. We did not have drones. We didn't even have a map of the Mississippi. If I put you in the middle of Miami and I told you to go find something, and this one's not for you, because you came from Miami, so you might find it, but if I put you guys in the middle of Miami and I told you to go find something without a map, would it be easy or hard?
For me, probably easy because I go to Miami basically every weekend.
Okay. But if for most people it'd be very hard, right? Okay. So now I'm going to show you something else. Not only did Zebulon Pike not have a map, this is what the Mississippi River looks like on a modern map.
Whoa. That's big.
Oh snap, right? It's not just one little river. Now, Zebulon Pike had to go find the source of the Mississippi River. Look at all these forks that the river is making. Here the Mississippi goes up, it forks out into Ohio River, the Missouri, but it has all these other little outlets that go away from the river. Can you tell me, if you didn't have a map and you had to find the source of the Mississippi River, would it be an easy thing or a hard thing? What do you think? Let's call it out. That would be pretty hard, right? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to read these two sources, and I want you to do a couple things while you read. I want you to underline the phrases and sentences that show what the author says about the topic. And I also want you to, and here's where I want you to grab your pencil, please, and you're going to find out what the following words mean. Overjoyed. So circle overjoyed in that first passage. The next one is obliged. And if you can find it sooner than I can, please raise your hand and let me know. Obliged, not finding it. Encountering.
I found it.
Where is it,
On
Gabriel?
the first
Passage. Which line?
and on the top line.
Top line, thank you.
Right next to it.
So the first line?
Yeah, right next to it.
Obliged.
No,
It's in the second.
in the second
Oh, the
paragraph.
second passage. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So you have circled these three words, and while you read, I want you to underline some context clues so we can talk about the meaning of those words. All right, so go ahead and read. Okay, so now that everybody has read through the passage, I want you to turn and talk about the context clues that you underlined for our three vocabulary words: overjoyed, obliged, and encountering.
All right.
Go ahead, turn and talk. Let's go. What did you underline? Compare with your partner.
Overjoyed type train.
So happy. And then oblige means felt like you won. Oblige means made below the mouths, but they were obliged to set in head. I was thinking they were forced to set in head. And then
All right, so let's share out now at this point. Who wants to share out Actually, I want to use the popsicle sticks. Let's have Nico share out the context clues for overjoyed. What do you think the context clues, what helps you understand what overjoyed means? Would you like to get some help from somebody?
Yeah, because I didn't.
All right, go ahead and pick a person.
Charlie.
Overjoyed means really happy.
Okay,
or-
that's a great answer, but what I want to know is what in the sentence gave you a clue that it means really happy?
Pike claims victory.
Yes, he claimed victory, and if you claim victory, then you're going to be very happy. Now, the other clue is in the word itself. Who saw the clue inside the word overjoyed? Yasmin.
I saw joy.
Joy. The root word is joy. So, and then you see the prefix over. Well, that's even more than joy. Great, excellent. Okay, the next context clue I'd like to know is obliged. Charlie, could you tell me what helped you understand obliged?
Made but 11 miles, and they were obliged to send ahead. So I was
Yeah.
thinking obliged means to like maybe be forced or.
That's exactly what it means. Your context clue is here that they made only or but 11 miles, and so they were obliged, so they were forced, right? The weather was so bad that they were forced. Yes, yes, sir.
What about to send?
To send. Obliged and to send belong together. To send doesn't tell you anything about obliged. It tells you what they had to do, and obliged is a synonym for have to do. All right, last one, context clues for encountering. Oh, Alana is not here today. George, what did you find?
Arrive, we arrive.
So you underlined we arrived here in encountering? Okay, so what do you think from your clue encountering means? When you, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
When you find something.
When you find something, yes, in this case, they found what? What did they find? Much difficulty, yes. They found much difficulty. All right, so these are the three little words that you may have had some trouble with. Now I'd like to go over what you found, and Audrey, you may return to your seat, thank you. All right, what I'd like to know now is what you have underlined, which point of view each author expresses about Pike's expedition. So what did you underline in the first passage? Crystal, which would you give me the line number as well, please? That would help out.
Paragraph 3. Line 3 of 4, 2,000-mile trip made in ice and snow for nothing.
Okay, so, a brutal 2,000-mile trip made in the ice and snow for nothing. All right, who agrees with Crystal that this was a good choice to show the author's point of view on the topic? All right, yes, I agree too. All right, for the second passage, what did you underline for the author's point of view, Jonathan? Could you give me the paragraph number, please, sir?
Paragraph 4.
Okay,
Attempt to describe my feelings on accomplishment of my voyage for this.
yes. I will not attempt to describe my feelings on the accomplishment of my voyage, for this is the main source of the Mississippi. So we have really two different points of view. What is George Chester's point of view on Zebulon Pike finding the source of the Mississippi, Mr. Quinn?
It's a complete waste.
It was a waste. He didn't find it. He was unsuccessful. He failed. And does he even use, yes, Pike had failed, all right? What is Zebulon Pike's point of view on finding the source of the Mississippi? It's Yelkes. According to Zebulon Pike, did he find the source of the Mississippi?
Yes.
Yes. He is overjoyed with his accomplishment of finding the main source of the Mississippi. So when we, yes, sir.
I don't really agree with the author that he failed because Even though he didn't make it, he gave them a source to start off with to find the actual source
Right.
of the Mississippi.
And I agree with you. I agree with you, Gabriel, because if you look in the text, it says here that that Zebulon Pike found Lake Itasca roughly 25 miles west of Leech Lake, which is the actual source. 25 miles? That's not that far. So I don't think it was a complete waste of time, and I agree with you. But anyway, but this is what the author's point of view is, and that's what we're talking about today. So what we're going to do now is, because your standard is to analyze different points of view. And the best way for you to analyze that is to use organization. And of course, you're going to organize this in your head from now on, but for today, we're going to organize it with a graphic organizer. The question is just like our essential question. Our essential question for this learning target is very, very similar to this one. What are the similarities and differences in the points of view of the two accounts? So the first thing we need to know is, what is the topic? What is the topic of this account? And remember, I told you for this lesson, topic and main idea are very closely connected. What say you, Sheldon? Excellent, so let's write that down. And I'm going to abbreviate his name because these are notes, and this is not an essay, so I'm going to put Zebulon Pike, ZP, finding the source of the Mississippi River, and I'm going to abbreviate again because these are my notes. I'm not allowed to do that as long as I understand what I'm writing. In an essay, never abbreviate. All right, so Zebulon Pike finding the source of the main river. And if you look closely at this is actually more than a topic. The topic is really just Zebulon Pike. This is more like a main idea. What about Zebulon Pike finding the source of the Mississippi River? Details about George Chester's point of view. Well, George Chester said that he failed. And I'm going to have to look here at Mr. Quinn's book. And the brutal trip was a waste of time. That is George Chester's point of view. Details about Zebulon Pike's point of view, as we underline them. Thank you. He says he found the main source. Accomplished. Found the main source. And Zymel, you are a new student today, and I apologize for my handwriting on the Clear Touch board. It is very hard for me to have beautiful handwriting on the Clear Touch. That learning curve is great. So if you have trouble, please raise your hand and I will tell you what I have written there. All right, so we can compare and contrast two different points of view of two authors.